MPs from the opposition India bloc are staging a protest over the special intensive revision issue in Bihar. And as Vasudha has already informed us, there are simultaneous protests going on in the Bihar Assembly as well. This, as the Election Commission said, voter list revision in Bihar has so far weeded out 52 lakh voters who are dead or migrated. But this dramatic surge in electors classified as deceased or permanently shifted, it appears to directly contradict the findings of a comprehensive voter roll cleanup that was completed just this January. My colleague Aishwarya Jain has been reporting from where the opposition leaders are protesting from outside Parliament. Just take a look at this report.
Well, it's day two of the protest that is being launched by the India Bloc MPs, and just behind me you can see the India Bloc MPs currently protesting at the Makar Dwar that is being led by the RJD and other India Bloc MPs. You can clearly see that how the entire protest that was staged yesterday as well, that had triggered a face-off between the government and the opposition, just not outside the parliament but also inside the parliament. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Jaya Bachchan to Gaurav Gogoi, everyone is protesting outside the Makar Dwar and chanting slogans against the entire SIR process that is being followed by the Election Commission of India. They are holding placards in their hands which states that SIR is stealing India's rights and allow leaders of opposition to speak in the parliament to save the democracy. This entire process should be stopped is the demand of the opposition bloc. It is, of course, yesterday we have seen that because of such protests inside and outside the entire parliament, both in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, got adjourned. There was a log jam that was witnessed yesterday in the parliament as well, and today as well the India bloc currently protesting at the Makar Dwar of the new parliament building. This is Aishwarya Jain for NDTV in Delhi.
So it is likely to be another day of disruptions in Parliament, with multiple opposition parties giving adjournment notices over the matter and protesting, as you can see, as my colleagues Aishwarya Jain and Vasudha Venugopal are reporting. Vasudha is still with us from outside Parliament. Vasudha, just getting into the technicalities of it, we now know that January's revision showed no significant anomalies. So how does the poll panel, the Election Commission, actually justify these new findings so suddenly?
Absolutely, that's a very valid question, Parmeshwar. I'll just come back to it, but just remember that protests have been happening in this parliament for a long time. But I remember when the DMK protested on the language policy, several other parties such as TMC did not participate in that, saying that this is not something that really concerns us. And when the TMC, came up with its concerns around epic numbers, there were other parties like the TMK which did not show that kind of interest. But look at the visuals there of this protest that's happening at Makar Dwar now, from the DMK to the TMC to the Congress party to Shiv Sena, UBT, you name it, you have every opposition party as part of this. You have Gaurav Gogoi, TR Balu, Kanimoi, and of course Jaya Bachchan, Priyanka Gandhi leading this, Congress MPs from different parts of the country. So clearly this is also the India bloc trying to project unity that we don't really see that often. This is SIR is something that's only happening in Bihar, but there are reports which have suggested that this is an exercise that's going to take place in the entire country. So parties like TMC were the first ones to, red flag it. But remember that, like you rightly said, the ECI has been saying that this is a process that has not met with resistance from common people. They've said that this is a process that's very important to purify the list. That's the word that they're using, because Bihar is also a state of migrants. It has several temporary and also permanent migrants. It's also a state that is document scarce. It also is a state that may not have that kind of literacy as other developed states. It also is a state that often gets flooded. So those are concerns which opposition has raised. But remember, this issue has been heard by the court, and the court has given a green signal to this exercise, which also empowers the ECI to continue with it. The first draft of the electoral rolls will be out on the 1st of August, but the ECI has said that 52 lakh voters are out, which also includes almost half of deceased voters and a large number of voters with duplicate IDs, and more importantly, also thousands of untraceable voters who were not really found in the addresses that they claimed were theirs, which also justifies the ECI's position that infiltrators were also present on this list of electoral rolls, and they should not be given the right to vote as per the constitution of this country.
Well, thank you so much for the clarification, Vasudha. And as you are highlighting, from the TMC to the DMK to Shiv Sena UBT, every opposition party is part of this protest outside Parliament, visuals of which are on your screens at the moment. Multiple opposition parties have given adjournment notices over the matter. They are protesting as well. In fact, Aishwarya Jain is covering the protest. Here's another report from Aishwarya.
Well, we are right now present at the Makar Dwar of the new Parliament building, and it's day 2 of the protest of India Bloc. Right now, you can see all the MPs have gathered at the Makar Dwar of the India Bloc. These are opposition party MPs. The protest is being led by Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. There you can see Ram Gopal Yadav, Akhilesh Yadav from the Samajwadi Party, Manoj Jha from the RJD, clearly protesting against the SIR process that is being followed in the state of Bihar. Yesterday, remember, there was a complete data that had been put out, but the opposition wants a discussion in the House as well. The placards can be seen in their hands, which states SIR stealing India rights, and the protest is also for a leader of opposition to speak in the Parliament. A mega protest by all the India Bloc MPs. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra can also be seen over here. The government have stated that it is under the constitutional rights that the entire process is being followed in Bihar, but this is a point of contention, a flash off between a face off between the India Bloc and the opposition and the government in terms of what is being seen inside and outside the Parliament, and Parliament Lok Jam continues. Aishwarya Jain for NDTV in Delhi.
Right. Vasudha, we've already covered the opposition parties in attendance. In fact, all major opposition parties are there in attendance outside the Parliament, as Aishwarya Jain has also highlighted. Vasudha Venugopal continues to be with us from outside the Parliament premises. Vasudha, now with elections coming up in Bihar, how might this actually impact turnout, legitimacy and political messaging on the ground with all that's playing out?
Absolutely, Parmeshwar. This is a very potent issue, and this I was speaking to somebody who has been tracking Bihar politics very closely, and he was telling me that this is an issue that has been picked up by people on the ground. But there are two things that are also going against the opposition's initiative to stage a campaign against this exercise. One is that they have not been able to mobilize people the way they would have expected against this exercise, and the second is also the Supreme Court giving this exercise a green signal. The Supreme Court basically said two things. One, that the ECI is well within its mandate to carry out this exercise, but it also asked the ECI to ensure that this is not a citizenship drive. That is not the mandate of the ECI, and that it should allow documents like Aadhaar and voter ID card. Now, that is something that ECI has said that is already being used in limited fashion. Now, the BLOs and the BLAs being given, the BLO specifically being given excessive power to determine who is eligible to vote or not is something that is a concern that opposition parties have raised. Now, the final numbers are out, and the ECI is saying that 52 lakh voters are out, and these were part of the electoral rolls that came out earlier. These are people who voted in earlier elections, is what we've been told. Of this, 26 lakh are dead people. There are also duplicate voters. There's also a large number of people who have permanently migrated outside Bihar, and also hundreds, 11,000 untraceable voters who were never found in the addresses that they claimed were theirs. This is also the ECI trying to justify its position, its point that infiltrators should not be allowed to vote because the constitution does not give them the right to vote, and also the fact that this is an exercise important to weed out duplicate voters. Now, for the opposition, this is anti-poor. That's what they've said. That's what Rahul Gandhi said yesterday in the party Shivir, saying that this will disenfranchise a large number of Bahujan of the country, specifically Dalits of the country, poor people of the country who may not really have documents to prove themselves as voters. The fact that the burden of proof is on the voter is a problem, is what the opposition has been saying again and again, and that is what they are raising through this protest of theirs, which is second in a row. This is the third day of the Parliament. They protested yesterday, and today again they're going to raise this issue, and we can see that resonate once the Parliament convenes as well.
Indeed. In fact, getting back to the technicalities of it, Vasudha, As per the EC's data, the most stunning figure many have highlighted is the 8.3 lakh names added to the not found list in just one day, but only 884 new forms were submitted. Has the Election Commission explained this discrepancy convincingly?
Well, the Election Commission has largely talked about discrepancies in the existing electoral roll, saying that 52 lakh voters were never part of this, should not have been part of the existing electoral rolls, because 25 lakh of them have passed away. And there is also almost 18 lakh voters who have duplicate IDs, and about several of them who have actually permanently migrated out of the state. They've also come up with untraceable voters. So clearly the ECI is trying to justify its position that it's only initiated a process that's very important to sanctify, purify this electoral list, so that it's only the citizens of the country that are voting. The Supreme Court had also warned the ECI that it cannot make this a citizenship proving exercise, because that is not within its mandate. This is something that the MHA needs to be doing, which is why it had asked for consideration of Aadhaar and voter ID cards as documents as well, apart from the 11 documents that the ECI had already talked about, to prove yourself as an eligible voter. But the opposition has been saying that by bringing the proof of burden on the voters, it also, in some ways, it puts all the poor people at a disadvantage, and that really would benefit only the BJP is what they've been claiming. But remember that poor people are voting for all parties, so clearly it is difficult to understand who are the voters who will be left out, and if there is really a political motive to this exercise, as the Congress party is claiming. But remember that this exercise will also be scaled up across the country. The opposition has also been questioning the timing of this exercise, saying that why should it be done just 2 months before the polls, and why could it not be have introduced in a place like Delhi, where the polls were held just a few months ago. So these are valid questions. Some of it will play out in the floor of the House today, and we'll have to wait and see what kind of response the ruling party gives. But remember, no time has been allocated to this discussion yet, so I'm not really sure if this discussion can even take place inside. In fact, Priyanka Gandhi also talked about how Rahul Gandhi wanted to pick up this issue, wanted to talk about it, but he was not allowed. Remember, that was during the question hour, and Rahul Gandhi has said that he was not being given time to speak.